Hello, hello, hello. Coach Tay here, back for the third game of the College Championship 2021 series, Winthrop Eagles versus Maryville. And what we're going to do is get straight back into it. Now, if you haven't seen the last two videos, they were uploaded very recently. A lot of stuff about, well, obviously the first 10 minutes of the game, but a lot of stuff about how bot lane may have messed up. And I think in game one, although it's starting to get longer and further away, I should say, so I can't remember game one too often, but it was too well, I should say, but it was around 4 days ago, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, something like that. Anyways, we're gonna get into game three right away. Again, like quick disclaimer that my opinions held are very they're open. Okay, and what I mean by that is when you think about draft, when you think about what you're analyzing, you have to take into account that this is at a collegiate level. And although these players can go, quote unquote, or have the ability to go pro if they're scouted or whatever like that, some of them have played in scouting ground circuits. Um, I do mean the collegiate level in the sense of the draft and how these coaches and how the coaches of these teams uh, have an outlook on what they want to play and what their champions are like and what their outlook are in terms of can this player do this, can this player do this, blah 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 blah. And for that reason, these drafts are not good, they're not bad. Um, they're relative, right? They're relative to the skill level of the players at hand. And so, with that being said, we're gonna get straight into it, and we're gonna hopefully get into. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. And again, I haven't watched any of these games, so we don't quite know what's gonna happen. And yeah, you're gonna see it live with me, quote unquote live, obviously. But with that being said, Maryville has taken the first game on blue side. Finally get to showcase if they're going to be able to turn this around. It is a sudden death for the side of Maryville, so they're going to have to win or they're out of here, right? And when you're thinking about it, championship game on the line, you obviously do want to perform. And so Winthrop, all they really need to do is just showcase that they're going to be able to take away on this red side. And when we're thinking about when teams go back and forth, there could be reasons why one side is unfavored. For instance, we're thinking about blue side versus red side. Blue side has the ability to take a first pick, obviously, which can be interesting for some drafts. And so primarily, Winthrop had banned away Gangplank game one. And now that you know what's going on, you had 2 games to think about this Gangplank ban, because if they had came into this series with preparation that Winthrop were going to ban away 3 things, and one of those things per se wasn't Gangplank, now all of a sudden you're coming into game 3 on blue side, and whatever your game plan is, you can now kind of switch it around, because now you know that Gangplank is going to be 100% banned. But you also know that they're thinking banning away Senna and Lee Sin, as last in prior games they were doing that. And this is what I mean by series have metas, and that's what I was referring to, I think, in game 2. Series do have metas, and so as this does come out, I do hope to see some sort of backlash coming from blue side on, from Maryville on blue side. But with that being said, first bans are Nocturne and Gangplank. We saw the Gangplank coming out. Nocturne has been taken away from Phosphorus, and potentially Doxon hybrids. They probably do have a 3-way flex, if I were to hazard to guess. Senna and Thresh. Senna is obviously very good at being a lane bully, but can also be paired with a multitude of different things. Fasting Senna is very prevalent and has the ability to take over games if it's piloted very well, and if you know that somebody does like to play Kaisa. And I'm pretty sure Kaisa Varus is the current meta with these 2 teams in this series, and I mean that in all its entirety in the series meta. Now, Thresh obviously is a very good pick, but coming out of blue side is very weird, because if you're saying, okay, take away Thresh on blue side, especially when you're thinking away, you're taking away red side as well. You're saying you just can't play it at all, right? Which is kind of weird. When you're thinking about Thresh, it's like a staple support. It's something that's super strong. It can go both ways. It can go, it can play back, or it can also, like with Guardian, obviously, it can play back. And then with Aftershock, you can also play forward. So it's going all over the place. But Lee Sin coming in again. This is a fine B1 if they can 3-way flex it between top, jungle, and mid. Gwen coming out. This does tell us 100% that Maryville cannot play Gwen. They have never I'm guessing that they've never really tried it out in scrims, or maybe they did and they decided, okay, hey, we can't really play it out. But yeah, we're gonna get straight into it, and hopefully we see what's going on. Again, Var is just on the table, Udir's on the table. What else is good? There's a lot of AP junglers still open. Kaisa, although we might just see a Varus pick. If I were to guess, I would say either Varus would come out, Kaisa would come out. Although I don't really like Kaisa B1 for a lot of different reasons, especially because you can pick a lot of different things into it, but I think I've already said that. Udyr has been taken by, I think, Winthrop game 1. Okay, so Udyr is going to get locked in right here. Udyr is just, it's a fine B1. You're going to be able to do a lot with it, and you can go with different comps. You can go with a lot of different comps. Varus and Rumble, we're already seeing a lot of setup and a lot of damage coming up. We're going to have Varus being able to contest priority, especially because we're probably going to see a support being picked out on the blue side in this B2, B3. We're going to see a support probably come out, and it's probably going to be a Leo Not like it's always been in these past two games. That being said, Kaisa and Not might come out, but we might see Kaisa or Leona. Sorry, Leona. Kaisa, okay, Kaisa's coming out. Kaisa and Leona. Again, this has just been what's going on in the series so far. I don't like the Kaisa here, but I like it. I like it better than I did in game 1, game 2, because now you have Udyr. Nautilus coming out is whatever. Some different ways you could play this out. Well, you got to match it with some sort of engage, but you could play back if you really, really wanted to. You could switch things up and try and play for an Enchantress or something like that. It's just that you're going to get priority either way, so I think Nautilus is actually the best option here. It's just on the side of blue side in Maryville, I don't think, especially because you know what's going to go on, you realistically think that Nautilus is going to come out. I don't really know if Kaisa Leona would have been the best pick. You could have also saved it and went for a B3 flex pick, because Spyrex and Chippies can flex pick something like a Renekton, something like what else? I don't know, Renekton. What else is still on the table here?
So these are the type of things I'm interested in.
I don't know if they play Viego at all, but that might not be the best option. Could just blind pick a mage, Yon, or sorry, not Yon, Orianna, Victor, Syndra.
Have the power to dive into the back.
Right, it's your game 3, and so far Kaisa Leona hasn't netted anything worthwhile. Especially in the early, or specifically in the early game, other than, you know, Saskio playing weak side really, really wrong. And so when you're thinking about these comps and what these champions have done so far, it's like, okay, well, wait a minute, that wasn't really the fact that you locked in these champions, and more fact that Saskio on Varus into
actually see this bot lane matchup, and in that game too, heavily favored in Maryville, so I think they're probably realizing, look, if we just get a better top lane.
So you can already see Kangas. Hopefully I'm correcting, or sorry, I'm pronouncing it correctly. Kangas just really quickly noted that that Maryville won the side of the matchup, but in reality they actually didn't. Saskio just really need to play weak side properly, and he wouldn't have got himself in a really bad position. He could have just looked to hard shove the wave that was under tower there, and then looked to base. And if he just played weak side properly, his top side, who was like 5 or 6-0, just would have hard stopped the game. Now, Bad's coming out, I have overlooked them because I was talking about that, but Yone coming out on the side of Winthrop is very, very key here, I think, especially when you're thinking about what Yone can do, and if you're scared that Spyrex is going to be able to pilot it correctly, you're thinking more along the lines of, okay, it's going to come out with a blind pick, and then we're going to reactively pick something towards it. Now, the thing with this is, you could pick Yone R4, because it is a champion at the end of the day that can relatively be safe in the laning phase. And if you can't play, if Doxa can't play it, there's something going on. Because if you're playing Rumble Yone, it's a super, super strong combo level 6. And if you can't play it, it's just kind of weird. Aatrox coming out, they're trying to take away either flex picks or trying to take away blind picks, because right here in R4 we're thinking towards a blind pick, either mid or top, obviously, and then or a flex pick. Vladimir coming away, they might let's go for a Shen. Now we're going to start to get a little bit into the realm of weak side play top. They're aiming towards weak side play top. If I were to hazard a guess, they might come out with an R4 weak side pick. Lucian coming out, they could also, I guess, blind pick Lucian there and potentially flex it, but I do think, though, that they might come out with a Shen, or they might come out with a weak side pick at the R4. I'm not too sure.
Let's see what we end up seeing here. Winthrop can just go towards an R, and then last pick for Doxa.
Last pick, counter pick.
Okay, so we're going to go with weak side Scion top. I think Scion blind pick is absolutely fine. It has the option of going in. You know, these guys want to go in, and then this guy wants frontline to back him up and sort of to go in. And you already have priority through bot, so if you really need to, you just play bot side, right? And I think this is a really fine pick. And now you're going to have a reactive R4, or sorry, I5, R5 counter pick. So if you're on Maryville's side, you really want to pick champions that are going to be able to get priority. So you're thinking maybe Tristana, you're thinking maybe Syndra, you're thinking maybe Oriana, yes and no, but they can obviously respond with a Tristana. Gnar coming out, I would like this pick a lot. You're going to go in, you want to go in, you want to go in. Matches the engage coming in from Udyr if Udyr wants to play that in and out type style. And Gnar can obviously come in with some pretty nice plays if wards are set up. If Maryville's bot 2v2 is able to win mid game, they're going to be able to get some vision down, especially for objectives, and then Gnar can come out. Now, Victor coming out, I do like Victor because they are one to come into. It's just that when you're thinking about your comp wanted to go in, it's kind of weird you want to pick Victor here. Oriana has a lot more synergy with what your team wants to do. You have a lot of ways to obviously synergize with the ball. You have Udyr engage, you have Leon engage, Kaisa is not going to be that one obviously, but Gnar can also do it. I don't really see Victor being the pick here. Other picks might be better. Victor, you need an AP. Obviously, you could take Victor would only be with range. Syndra. I think Ori is just the pick. Unless Spyrex just can't play Ori. That must be it, right? Pick it. Pick Zed. Pick Zed. Do it. They can't, right? They can't. Okay, good. Style's coming out. Yes and no. I think picking a champion that is going to potentially lose those earlier waves, especially when you're trying to contest it, is kind of a bit weird. So you're basically saying, hey, Victor, you're going to be able to farm those first couple of waves for free. Not farm them, but contest them, rather, and push them in, which is a bit weird, especially when you think about what an R5 pick wants to do. I think the Sauce pick is very, very weird. You have ults that you can get on the Gnar ult is also obviously very good. Victor ult's not really going to do too much. Kai's ult might in the heat of a battle. But Leona ult's good. So you have Gnar and you have Leona ult. But I don't quite like Silas here. I was thinking something with a little bit more range. Right now, the only range you're going to have in this team is Varus. And then suited range, obviously, with the Rumble, ult, catch-up stuff. Actually, no, you don't suffer from range too heavily. You have so many ways of hard engaging, so I think it would be bad to say something like that. But on the side of who wins, draft, especially when we're talking about win conditions, I think bot lane goes over to the side of Winthrop. We've seen this before, and I heavily think that this is obviously the way things are going to go. But Sasuke is still not going to take cleanse, so level 6 you're thinking some things might happen here and there. Mid lane, Spyrex wins priority earlier on. I don't like this because it was a B4, and then they picked a responsive R5. And it does, I think, end up being more useful late game just because Victor wants people to come into him, and the only real follow-up you're going to get is going to be from the E. But obviously that's dependent on how team fights are being played and how how teams are going to position. But I do like how Victor does against these champions, so Nautilus, Silas, Rumble, and Scion. So I do like how the Victor was picked here. I just wish it would have been Oriana. Udyr and Rumble, not too much to worry about here. They're just going to probably try to power farm. Udyr is going to be a little bit more active earlier on. And then top lane priority should go over to Chippies. And so who won draft? Who won draft? I would say Maryville won draft. Because they're able to I think they outscale. I think Maryville hard outscales this. The beefy front line, Kai'Sa being able to reposition where she wants to. She's gonna hard lose lane. Hopefully, I'm right by that. Obviously, things could go in the side of Maryville if one thing leads to another. But I do think that Maryville is generally going to have an easier time getting to that later stage of the game, especially once Victor gets E upgrade. You're really just thinking about pushing in waves and trying to cover if possible. If you're going to be able to keep Flash up for a lot of time, you're going to be able to have a happy time playing out the game. Merc Treads here are very, very good for both sides. It's just that Vel'Koz, or not Vel'Koz, Victor might have a little bit better of a time taking Merc Treads here, especially because you could just get so much safety out of it. Udyr, although you do have Nautilus here, Udyr just has a better time playing out these team fights, I think, and we might see Rumble being a little bit more of a bait, even though it is very, very strong. On 11.10, I do think Rumble here was a bit of a bait. A lot of mobility, a lot of safety coming in from the carries of Maryville, and so when you're thinking about lockdown on the side of Winthrop, you only realistically have Nautilus, and Nautilus would get blown up if he does try to get to teamfights. So real quick, win conditions we're thinking about early game for both sides. Win conditions on the side of Winthrop is try to get some sort of lead with the bot lane priority. Again, Nautilus does have the early timers, this time around. Save bot lane level 6 because of Saskia no cleanse. Silas here, I'm not too sure what this Silas is going to end up accomplishing, but maybe there's some sort of fight that breaks out and Silas is able to get some kills, get some gold for free, for no real good reason. But it's a little bit of a weird 5-point here. Rumble is bot. Maybe they were expecting some sort of 3-man into the bot side. Maybe that was something that they saw in the film, but no. Maryville is just really going to go and ward that middle bush there. Again, this is just to protect against some sort of third bush cheese. And again, what I mean by that is they were to go down to that bush and try and cheese level 1. But it's also to protect against the 5-mans invades, right? So it does two things at once, right? National throws and poke. Nothing realistically going to happen. We're thinking about how junglers want to path as they do start. I do think that Udyr does want to path into topside again here. And then, as I say that, they're going to try and get a ward maybe. Realize that it's kind of not really going to do too much. So Udyr's starting topside. Rumble also is starting topside. I do like Rumble starting topside more than I like Udyr starting topside. I think this might not be the best option for Udyr, although maybe there's something going on. Maybe they have a different game plan for how they want to play these bots to the map coming on that 3rd, 4th wave. So we're going to see here. This is going to be interesting. There's going to be a fight for sure in the bot side of the map, or Udyr is going to try and look to clear up back to the top side, but that just doesn't really make too much sense, especially when you can do blue and Gromp better than you can do 2 camps. There's going to be already an early trade coming out from Winthrop, and they're going to win that really, really hard. That last auto, that it wasn't worth it, I don't think at all. When you're thinking about how trades want to work, especially 2v2 bot lane with both junglers pathing down into bot, you want to make sure that the most important members of your team are going to be fully healthy. And when you're thinking about Kai'Sa versus Leona, yes, Leona is going to be a lot more useful in terms of how the CC is going to work out early game, because CC early game is just really, really strong. We want Saskia to be as strong as possible, and so we got the trade on the Leona. If we quickly back up, so we got this really, really good trade, right? As soon as that Q comes out, there's really no reason for Saskia to be trading back and forth here, right? We're still going to get priority, and it's going to be a lot more beneficial for you guys if Leona just uses her pots and then you guys back up. You guys have already won the lane priority, so trading here back and forth is going to be really, really weird, okay? Yeah, like, I don't think that trade was worth it. I think you should back off as soon as you get this really, really good trade. Your Hail Blades is now done. You got the Q, so auto, and then like trading autos there just isn't worth it, obviously. I like the way Nautilus is posturing. Even if Kai'Sa does auto Nautilus, you're gonna pull aggro on the waves. You're not gonna be able to push in, and then we're gonna be able to ultimately progress up, especially because Leona's still level 1. So if Nautilus pressures up and then Varus does end up coming up, it's gonna be a lot more beneficial. right? I just don't like how hard they're pushing this wave because now the crash is going to ultimately happen in the second wave. So the amount of times that we're autoing this wave just doesn't make too much sense, right? And if we just take a look at how many times Sasuke is just autoing, you've already hard won the push, so there's really no point to what's happening right here. Right, we're autoing, but we already won the push, right? All we really need to do is just walk up. So at this point, we push, or we stop, right? We stop autoing the wave, and we start punishing. We start punishing hard, because now all of a sudden they're in the back end, and they're trying to contest level 2 when we've already won it on the side of Winthrop. And now this crash is going to be on a really awkward timing. It might not even crash if Nautilus postures away. And as we're seeing this again, this is second wave crash, right? But look at Dox's HP. So there's times when this is worth it and there's times where it's not. So Spyrex often does this. I've seen this in the past 2 games that Spyrex is looking to hard shove on the second wave, which is a little bit awkward. But when you're looking at past games, Doxa is roughly more or less closer to 75% HP. And actually, now that I'm realizing this was actually the other way around, where Spyrex was in Salus's position where he was playing Yone, and then Doxa was playing like a mage or something like that, who's winning early game priority. But on this end, Spyrex is actually hard winning, right? We're thinking that, okay, wait a minute, Salus didn't take Corrupting Pot, he took Doran's ring, but look at his HP. He's got 2 pots, and he's got, whatnot. He's got 2 pots and sorry about that. He's got 2 pots and a biscuit, but we're just getting harassed. So this is actually really good by Spyrex. He's doing it a lot more efficient than whatnot. Now, I don't know what the clear looks like in terms of Rumble going Raptors, Red, Krugs. I don't really know why he did that. Maybe he was looking to see some sort of early game pressure in the top side of the map, but I don't really see ever really playing into a Sion like this, especially when you think about your bot lane. I don't really see how this works out, and so pathing like this just seems weird, especially when Udyr's already at his red buff and he's about to full clear. You're 245. You're gonna have to skip or you're gonna have to skip wolves here. You're gonna miss it on level 4, and now you're level 3 versus Udyr's level 4. So this just really doesn't make any sense to me. Why Frost Forest would have looked to done this clear? Just a really weird clear that doesn't really net any positives at this point. There could have been something in the game plan that suggested otherwise, but at this point it's just kind of weird. And here again, bot lane, I guess, if we're looking back on things, maybe Frost Forest realized he fucked up. And because of that, he actually told his bot lane to hard shell that second wave. Although, based on the way they were doing it, maybe not. Who knows, right? Who really knows what the communication was like? But because this wave is pushing in, now Frost Forest might get double scudded because Leona's going to be level 3. And he's going to be able to get first timer here in a lane that they're supposed to lose, which is really quite awkward, especially when you're thinking about that trade that they took level 1, where they actually hard won on the side of Winthrop. But Leona should move right now. I don't really know why Leona's here. You're not going to do anything. The wave is under tower. It's not like you're at a tower dive, right? So really all that should happen, Leona should come up. We have priority in top lane, priority in mid lane, priority in bot lane, and then Rumble's going to look to go take this scuttle, and it's like, well, what the heck do we just do this for? And now all of a sudden they're forcing a fight, which doesn't make any sense. And Leona's super far behind. You can imagine a world where if Leona was already here, oh my god, the game would already be over, right? This just doesn't make any sense. Chippy should never die here. Leona should just be here. You know what I mean? But Doxa is going to have to burn Flash. Yeah, there it goes. Nobody has... Udyr doesn't have Flash to follow up. Why the heck would Doxa go back in there? What the heck was that? What the heck? They think Nautilus is coming, so maybe they're like, hey, let's hard engage here. But dying here, especially when you just TP back to lane, look at your lane. Look at your wave. Your wave is going to get pushed in, and you're going to lose 2 waves. You're going to have 17 CS to Spyrex is like, I don't know. And he doesn't have to push this if he doesn't want to. He can actually just base. He's still going to get the same. Actually, no, that's incorrect because Leona can help push this. I was going to say because the mana values that Spyrex has to have in order to push that wave in, it'll be kind of awkward. But because Leona's here to help push, this might be beneficial for Victor here. But this is just wrong. This is just like I would never expect this from a team like this that's been playing like pretty well, especially coming in from topside. Hybrids, Doxa, and actually I shouldn't say Doxa because Doxa has been playing the best. But Frost Forest and Hybrids have been able to play pretty well in the top side comparatively to the other team. Keyword there, comparatively, right? But yeah, this just seems so awkward. Leona should just be there. But I don't know why you would ever want to contest that top scuttle there. The game is just over at this point if they just stay steady. If Maryville just stays steady, you have or sorry, you have flashes on mid and bot. You have flash advantage. Again, when we're talking about win conditions, you just say to yourself like, hey, we have flash on Victor. Let's just keep things steady. I'm about to hit E. You know, he's got a kill and an assist. So when you're thinking about those stacks that are going on, I wish they would show him right now. But even with Rumble playing aggressive like this is just he's just forced to do stuff like this, because if he doesn't, he's just going to get far behind, far behind, far behind. So you can really see Frost Forest getting punished and having to do certain things that he doesn't really want to. If Shady would have hit that, the game would have been 100% over. He would have lost his bot side in turn, and then they would have gotten Dragon, and he would not have gotten any sort of tempo advantage because Udyr would have looked to do Dragon. Whereas normally, when you take a Dragon, you're normally going to have to give up some sort of tempo in your clear, unless you cleared really, really beautifully. And now that I was saying that, actually, because the extra 15 seconds jungle clamp timers might actually make that go... make what I said invalid, but in another way, this will go. This is the best play that it could have done at this point. And Frost Forester just give this up. You just see your mid laner getting pushed in. He doesn't have TP, so really forcing this as Frostfire is really, really bad here. He just shouldn't be here in any regard. It's really, really bad. Yeah, and the game's just going to get over at this point. But these are the things that kind of have to happen. And Rumble choosing to invade there and show at Raptors, it shows his CS count. It actually shows his tempo and what he's done in terms of his bot side clear, which is really, really, really bad. Because now if Maryville knows what they're doing, and clearly they do, they're just going to invade you. And they're gonna look to force you out. And what should have happened is Frost Force should have gone out and looked for some sort of base, and well, you can't really do too much because your laners are just losing. So I guess, yeah, the only thing you really need to do is try to contest that and hope to dear God you get something out of it. But as I'm saying that, Chippies is going to get punished for just constantly shoving. Now, could we have seen this coming from beyond the grave? Okay, yeah. Well, this is just a weak side thing. If we're looking at his gold count, and I wish they would press X in the side of the casters here, because this guy has gold to spend. And I guarantee you he's been shoving waves, harassing our tower. You see by Hybrid's HP and mana values that this guy's been getting shoved in, getting harassed, shoved in, getting harassed. But as Chippy's here, you should never ever die. You don't have flash here. You have a ward you actually don't have a ward in that bush anymore, and your bot lane and your bot side of the map is where your pressure is. Your jungler is taking Dragon, and there's absolutely no reason for you to be overextended like this. It just doesn't make any sort of reasoning, and I'm pretty sure based off the way that this wave was, it was actually pushing in towards him, and he also has TP up. There's just really no reason for Chippies to ever die here. Absolutely, really bad macro, especially when you're thinking about what game this is. This is game 2. Actually, this is game 3. If you lose this game, it's going to be because of you. At this point, it's 100% going to be because of you. You should not do stuff like this. It just doesn't make any sense. And as we say that, they're going to be a test over the scut here. Now, this is just awkward as hell. If Cyan is communicating properly, you're saying, okay, hey, wait a minute, Chippies has TP, and even if you know, Spyrex isn't here, like, there's just no reason to do this, because, you know, you don't have flash. First of all, you're level 5, and we can almost guarantee that Udyr's level 6 at this point. And then even if Chippy's TPs to this, he's going to lose that top wave, but Frost Forest is going to die. But at this point, like, I can fast forward, but I can already tell you what's going to happen. Like, Udyr can just clear his jungle for free, and his top side's going to be gone. He's going to get like a 30 to 40 CS lead. Mid here has flash. Nautilus isn't 6 yet, so there's no real hope of ever killing Spyrex here, ever killing Victor. I'm pretty sure he has E upgrade already. So he's one-shotting waves. Yeah, like, this wave was crashing our tower. Like, I see plat players being, like, doing this, and diamond players doing this. There's no reason for, you know, like a finals team, and like, the wave is pushed. The wave is in our tower, and they can't really freeze this because this is going to die. And even if you wanted to, well, no, you just get out, right? You get out, you don't die, and yeah, Like, there's just no reason. We take a look at the wave, and I know that Sion did either minion there, so that would have been an extra minion on the side, but I don't think that freezes, especially when you're thinking about that last minion there getting hit by tower, right? So you just leave, you take the base, whatever sort of miss wave manipulation that you did, it's just really your fault, and so you should just be getting out and taking the 2 CS, 3 CS disadvantage you're going to get there. Come back to lane, you have full wave control, you're still having full wave control. It's just really, really bad. Really, really bad. Frost Forest is now going to... Oh, and we didn't actually take... Oh, I think we did take camps topside. It's just we left one up. Yeah, so Udir's just looking to clear. He doesn't really have to do too much here. He's just going to clear, 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 clear. Bot side is doing their best to play safe, it seems, which is ultimately the best option here. At level 6, when Leona does hit 6, we could see Udyr wanting to gank, especially because Saskia, again, didn't take cleanse. And especially into Leona and a Kai'Sa and an Udyr, there's just no reason to ever not, right? And I think they're posturing up. If they would actually look at bot lane here and press Leona here, we could see that he probably has... or he's just going to go in. He's not even going to wait for 6. They're just going to go, go, go. Now, the thought process here might be that, okay, we're not going to wait till 6. We're actually going to try and burn their flashes or burn something so that we can come out of this we could come into level 6 already being able to dive. Because once they hit 6, that's when, you know, things start to be in Maryville's bot's favor. Now, I don't know why they're letting Saskia get these waves for free. They could be saying to themselves, hey, he's got flash. There's a way that we can actually lose this. But look at this guy's HP. And I don't know how close Shady is to ult. Actually, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter at all. But I don't think with Evan RL having ult that this is just like, this wave should never be given to Varus, I don't think. Varus is the only member of the team. Or sorry, no, Varus and Silas are pretty much the only members of the team that are still in the game, right? So you want to try and take away, you want to squeeze them out, you want to bleed them out, and you want to keep them from getting anything. And Varus' mana is running really low. He doesn't have ult, he's only got flash, but worst comes to worst, he loses the wave. He's going to get pushed off. There's no way he's going to be able to defend that, especially without cleanse, right? And especially because you're going to give up this anyways. The only thought process could be that Udyr needs to come back up topside and get his farm back, but you know they're just gonna get this, and they're gonna give the blue buff handoff. And really, Victor here is just farming for free. He's just doing whatever he wants for free. Still has that flash up. You know, as soon as Leona hits 6, I just want to quickly see what they do with Leona hitting 6 here. They're just gonna back off for a base. I think he doesn't even have Mythic here. Okay, this is really weird. He has Q in power. Okay, they're gonna come back. Wave's gonna be pushing in. And this second dragon test, I know I like to go till 10 minutes, but I do want to quickly go to this last dragon, see how they prepped it, and see what sort of things we can learn from how these two teams do end up prepping dragon. Okay, so TP coming out from the Silas. It's a really, really far TP, but Sion does have ultimate. He's going to be able to try and get an ultimate landed. Chippies does a really, really beautiful flash here. And it looks like it's actually a little bit harder for them to try and get this. They're going to flash onto him, get that ultimate out, and they're going to get the kill. This is ultimately, this is going to get something from nothing. Yeah, I shouldn't say that, because you do lose something. You lose flash, you lose TP, and you lose flash. Mid lane's going to get pushed in. They're going to lose plates mid. I don't actually like this. I think this is actually more worth it, especially when we're thinking about where the gold is on the side of Maryville. The gold isn't top. Gnar is more or less just a... I hate to say it, but he's more or less just a buffed up cannon minion who's going to be able to get that ultimate. He's going to be ultimate bot at this point. Victor's getting free waves. Bot lane's just getting to do whatever they really want here. And nothing's too in anyone's favor. Now, if I were to hazard a guess, I would say that Maryville does win this game quite hard in a destructive fashion here. But who won the early game? Well, needless to say, Maryville hard won this. I think they had a lot of opportunities to still improve in terms of where they could look to put their pressure, especially when Chippy's, you know, he should be able to play weak side. I don't see why he's able to just, or, you know, why he's dying like that. It just doesn't make too much sense. And I do think, though, that even with the leads that they had, that Maryville could have still looked to improve on their leads. And I don't think Varus should ever have 104 CS at this point, especially with no cleanse. they didn't utilize Leona ult whatsoever, especially without a cleanse on Varus. They could look to just trade the ult for the flash. But with that being said, at this point in the game, yeah, it's just heavily in Maryville's favor. Really, really bad pathing by Frost Forest, and I don't think that he's going to be able to net himself any sort of, you know, response to what happened. I just don't get why he started, you know, where he started, and I just don't get what Winthrop's bot lane was doing with the wave and whatnot. It's really, really weird game. Yeah, so Maryville's just hard winning this. Gnar did end up getting back into the game. Maybe there was some sort of play where Hybrid had to TP back down to bot lane to save something, and then Gnar was able to get back into the game because of it. Or he was able to pick up 3 kills out of nowhere and then just hard win the split. With that being said, I think I'm going to end it there. Again, the series is looking to be a lot more volatile than need be, and there's still a lot of sloppy play. And with sloppy play, sorry, there's a lot of good things to learn, right? So, yeah, cheers, best of luck, and hopefully you guys learned something from this review.